Welcome to John Seekings, and welcome to the 10th of February 24 Championship. Let's have a good look at what we're going to see this weekend. Now, I have to say, yesterday's result, Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 against Birmingham. I was going to have a bet, and I was going to have a nice sort of six-way bet and include the Sheffield Wednesday game. Cheers. And I suddenly thought, hell, I don't want to bet on that. That is so difficult. Beforehand, I'm thinking Wednesday had done quite a bit of really good work in the January window. And I'm sort of thinking, well, there's a lot of people saying that Birmingham have now cooked it and they're just gonna saunter down and end up in their usual 18th position. Excuse me, I did a 5k run this morning. Didn't do very well in it. I was going for a draw. I must admit, I was going for a draw. I was thinking that Birmingham might just start to pull back a little. They had been doing really well, and they'd really took off quite well, and then I don't know, just sort of stopped and died a death, really. But on the whole, 2-0 win to Sheffield Wednesday. I think that was extremely good for the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Being a Rotherham fan, it's neither here nor there. I think we're cooked anyway. Let's start with the 12:30 game, Ipswich versus West Brom. What can we say here? We can actually have a look at the lineups. Let's have a look. Ipswich. Veklev in goal for Ipswich, with a back four of Clark, Wolfenden, Edmondson and Davis. So pretty good back four. Luongo and Morsey behind a sort of midfield of Wes Burns, Chaplin, and Broadhead. They've just swapped it round. And then Kiefer Moore up front. They're putting a lot of their faith in Kiefer Moore. And we know he can do it, but I don't know. Up front on his own, Connor Chaplin behind him or alongside him. Possible. West Brom, let's have a look at how they're doing. Very much similar. Palmer in goal, Furlong, Batley, Kipra, and Townsend at the back. Yokulslu and Moat, with Wallace, Wyman, and Fellows in midfield, and Thomas Asante up front. Oh dear. Well, I was actually going to go for West Brom here, and I'm still going to go for West Brom. I know people are thinking those teams, well, if you look at them, I'd say I'd probably agree Ipswich is slightly better. I prefer the Ipswich team. I think they've got more bite, especially with Connor Chaplin behind that, really in that attacking front role. I have to think about Ipswich, and I know it's only an FA Cup game, but losing to Maidstone in the way they did, 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. Forget that. I'm not bothered about Mason. I'm talking about Ipswich. Ipswich is God knows how many shots on goal. Well, no. Yeah, shots on goal. On target, not that many. But even then, to get one out of the number of shots on target was pretty dismal. And that's why I think that but West Brom are just getting more of their targets. When they get a shot on goal, they're getting a bigger conversion rate. And I just think that the conversion rate of West Brom is such that they've got a decent defence. I think that they could very well turn Ipswich around here. Ipswich are being found out, I believe, by the Championship teams, and I think that we're going to see a West Brom win. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3-1. Blackburn versus Stoke. So Blackburn in a little bit of turmoil at the minute. 18th in the league. Staring down the gunnels of Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield, who are quickly catching them up. And you've got to remember, Huddersfield are on 31 in 21st, and Blackburn are 18th in with 33 points. However, Stoke are 20th with 32 points. Darn it. Stoke firing on all guns blazing at the beginning of the season. I mean, they had 2 games against Rotherham in the first month and slapped 10 against us in 2 games. So they were firing pretty well. Dares I go for a boring 0-0? I know that Prutton said, I think Prutton said about 2-2. I just can't see 2-2. I can't see 2-2. It could be that they both come out blazing because they know they've got to do something, and you'll get a 2-2. But I don't think it'll be 1-1. It's going to either be 0-0 or 2-2, but I think it's going to be 0-0. I'll go 0-0. Then we've got Cardiff versus Preston. I think really here we're sort of cooked here, haven't we? I mean, we've got a Cardiff side which is hit and miss. Okay, Cardiff lost 3-1 to Plymouth, but there again, it was at Plymouth. Plymouth score 3 at home on a pretty regular basis, far too regular basis, if you ask me. I don't know how they do it. They won 1-0 away at Watford, and they lost at home 3-0 to high-flying Leeds. But then they lost at home. They lost away to Sheffield Wednesday 4-0. I mean, Wednesday winning. No, I know it was in the cup, but it's really weird. Cardiff, not really. They're sort of hit and miss. Very, very hit and miss. And then you have Preston North End, who pretty much lose, win, draw sort of club at the minute. At least they've got their place. They now know that they're in their mid-table. I don't think that they're pretty. I don't think they're good. Let's have a look where the table is. They could actually make that 6th slot, but like I said right at the beginning of the season, I fully expected the first 4 to take off, and at the minute, the first 4 have took off, but it's a different 4 to what I expected. Then I expected a big drop to 5th and 6th, and the between 5th place and sort of 12th, 13th, I expected not to be very many points. With 4th being on 59 points and 5th West Brom being on 48 points, you see there's 9 points, and we're sort of just past halfway. Well past halfway, and and you think, well, yeah, 2/3 of the way through now, aren't we? And you're thinking, God, there's a 9-point gap. We're pretty much as I expected it. But then you've got, and this is an important bit, between 5th on 48. If you go down 8 points to Cardiff on 40, 13th position. It's like, yeah, totally ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. There's very few gaps in there. In fact, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 teams on 44 points, 2 on 41. There's it's pretty level. And I think Preston and Cardiff are 2 points adrift of each other, but they're I'm saying is they can get to that 4th and 5th position. Well, 5th and 6th position. Would Cardiff think they could do it? They are in the bookies. I think about 10-1 in bookies. Could make it. Absolutely. There's very little. I mean, 6th place is on 45, just 5 points ahead of Cardiff. And the teams that we're talking about are ones that lose, win, draw. They're not ones that win every week. So I think these two are going to come out guns blazing and thinking, can we revitalize our season from here on in? Every team wants this game that they're about to play to be the game that turns their season around. Absolutely. Or in Leicester's case, doesn't turn it around because they're going extremely well at the minute. Had a little bit of wobble, but they're doing well. What do I think? I think that we've got a very, very tough game on our hands. I think if Preston lose, they're going to lose by 2 or 3. I'm going to go home team. I'm going to go Cardiff. I'm going to go that they are going to lose 3. That Cardiff are going to win 3-0. Hull City versus Swansea. I think Hull City are pretty much in the winning streak at the minute. Taking away the FA Cup, you have win. We're going backwards. Win, lose, win. Lose. So win, lose. There's 2 FA Cups in there. 2 Birmingham FA Cups. So win, lose Norwich, lose Sheffield Wednesday. They do seem to have got a little bit better recently. I don't think the win against Sunderland was that great, but I thought the win against Millwall was very robust and certainly robust at the back. Swansea just not firing, are they? Lost at home to Plymouth. Oof. I mean, okay, they lost away to 3-1 to Leicester City. 5-0 away to Bournemouth in the Cup. But then at home against Southampton, you would have thought they'd have done better than 3-1 defeat. I think it's going to be a Hull City win. It's just a case of do I see Swansea scoring 0-1, 0-1, 2-2. Yeah, probably score 1. I'm going to go for the boring 2-1 win to Hull City. Now, this is my team, so we're going Leeds United versus Rotherham United. The one thing is that we've got our 3 new recruits in that are probably going to start today, hopefully. They'll be totally different from from the present side, and hopefully they can take off with a bang and prove that they're really good players. I think. See, look, my head is saying that we're gonna go. Rotherham's gonna go at this, and we've already seen the Leeds press saying it's not a case of if we'll win it; it's a case of how many are we going to win by. You know, are we going to win 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0? You know, that's the mentality in the Leeds camp. Funnily enough, Rotherham always play really well against teams that come to Rotherham, at least, expecting to thump the living daylights out of the team at the bottom of the league. Norwich City came to Rotherham expecting. They said exactly that. He had the audacity, the manager of Norwich City, to say, it wasn't a case of if we were going to win, it was a case of how many we were going to win by. And he actually said that. And I'm like, okay, you pompous ass. Take this 2-0, 2-1 defeat. So for that reason, I would say Leeds are absolutely following in the same line as Norwich City. The only thing is, it's away at Leeds, which isn't the same, and we've not won away for nearly 2 years. So my initial thought is, look, the more Leeds think they can just go out on the pitch and they're bound to win, the more I think Rotherham could win this 3-1. So my heart says 3-1 to Rotherham. My head says 4-0 to Leeds. They're flying. They really are. They're confident. They really are. Overconfident? Possibly too overconfident. And I'm hoping to God they really are overconfident. So, won't be a draw. Absolutely will not be a draw. I don't see that being a draw whatsoever. Either Rotherham will just take it because they haven't got any. I said to Prutton on Sky Sports, Rotherham have got nothing to lose, and we haven't. We're expected to lose. We're expected to get thumped. What's the point? We're not gonna go at it and try and win it. Not unless we get the opportunity, i.e., they start pushing so far up the pitch that it's just a case of doing our usual sort of 10 man at the back and suddenly thump it forward to Hugill up front, who might change and we put the new guy in. So we'll see. So they're my two scores. I don't usually do my team, but I'm going to do it. I've done it this week. Borough versus Bristol City. Another very difficult game to predict. I think the Borough game against Chelsea 6, Borough 1, really did hit them for 6, especially after they'd managed to scramble an equaliser against Rotherham United. And so it was Middlesbrough 1, Rotherham 1, and they managed to sort of grab a late equaliser, stopping Rotherham from getting their first win in 2 years away from home. And then when they went back into the that was in the Carabao for the Chelsea game, Then we went back to Sunderland at home 1-1, and you think, they're not doing well. They really are not doing well. Bristol City, on the other hand, Forest 1-1 away in the FA Cup. It was the last game. A loss at home to Leeds, but only 1-0. And I think they were unlucky to come away without a point there. Coventry 2-2, Forest 1-0. Watford 1-1. West Ham, they won 1-0. Bristol City are flying, and I think that the Bristol City fans will be flying all the way to Borough and flying all the way back. I'm going to go for a Borough 0, Bristol City 2. QPR Norwich. Where are we on? 12:02. QPR Norwich. QPR are starting to turn it, but they won away at Blackburn 2-1, but Blackburn are awful. God, I'm awful at this point. And I did say they were going to be in the bottom six. At the beginning of the season, I did say Blackburn would be in the bottom six and that West Brom may very well be with them. Okay, didn't get the West Brom, got the Blackburn. They're going right into the bottom six. I think that Blackburn I mean, where are they at the minute? They must be pretty low down. They're actually in the bottom six. No, they're not quite. One more position and they're in the bottom six. They're in 18th. Can they be 33? So if Huddersfield won, they'd be. Yeah. I think we're going to be seeing Blackburn in the bottom six. I really do. QPR 28 points. I think QPR may very well get out of the bottom three. QPR out of the bottom three. That is going to be. We'll see what the Huddersfield game is, but I think this is going to be with this. I think that this Blackburn up there. Oh, QPR. So Blackburn are really doing really shit against Stoke. QPR are doing really well. I think QPR are going to do this. I think QPR are going to. There's been a bit of a lull. I think the Leeds, the defeat against Leeds away to Leeds for Norwich was the one that really sort of turned it. I don't know how they managed to win Coventry. Really, I thought Coventry were quite good for their money. Oh, it's difficult, guys. It's difficult. I know Pruton said this is going to be a draw. I'm going to go with Pruton. I'm going to go with Pruton's predictions. I'm going to go 1-1 QPR Norwich. I just cannot wipe Norwich off. I know they want to. I know that they're playing pretty. They're playing close to the really close to their limit at the minute, and they're getting results where they really shouldn't be getting results. I don't think. Southampton, Huddersfield. Now, forgive me. This is exactly the same as the Rotherham game. Exactly the same. And Huddersfield are exactly the same as Rotherham. You go to Huddersfield, go to Southampton like Rotherham went to Southampton. Rotherham let a goal in 2 minutes. We drew 1-1. 67 minutes, I think we drew. And the Southampton fans suddenly started booing their own team, and half the entire block next to the Rotherham fans just cleared out as soon as we scored. Just disappeared. And it's only 67 minutes in. I just cannot. Will Southampton be one of those clubs that just look at the bottom six, or bottom four in this case, I think it's not a case of who we're going to win. It's how many. Only this isn't one of my teams. So whereas I was thinking that for the Rotherham game, how overconfident will they be? I'm pretty damn sure that Southampton are going to be so confident and so cocky. The thing is, they really can thrash the pants off of Huddersfield. We know they can. If we looked at their team, I'm sure we'd be thinking, shit, Huddersfield have really got no bloody chance at all. Huddersfield are bloody good at the back if they need to be. They really, really can. And I just think that it shows the fact that Sheffield Wednesday are doing well, and it was Huddersfield. It was Huddersfield. Huddersfield 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And you think they bolstered up the attack to Sheffield Wednesday. So to let 0 in and score 4 at the other end, shows that Sheffield Wednesday, when they get behind, just collapse, which they didn't do yesterday because they didn't go behind. And B shows that their prowess up front is still there if they manage to get the chances. I'm going to go for Southampton 1, Huddersfield 1. Absolutely. I think they can do a roll through and get a 1-1. Sunderland, Plymouth. Plymouth aren't usually that good away from home, but they did win. They lost in the cup at home 4-1 to Leeds. They won away to Swansea 1-0. Drew away at Leeds 1-1 in the cup. Only more away. Huddersfield away 1-1, which you would have expected them to win. But like I said, too confident. 1-1. I think the others are pretty much home against Cardiff. Well, they have the ability to beat anyone at home. 3 goals at home is quite usual for them. It has to be the away form that you look at for Plymouth. And when you're looking at Sunderland's home form, I think they could mess up. They could mess up. They're really confident, Plymouth, at the minute. They've done some really good business in the January window. My head is saying Sunderland to win 1-0. I'm going to say Sunderland 1, Plymouth 1. I don't know. It's just something that says they can do that. They can do it. And last of all, Watford, Leicester. Watford they've gone into this bloody mode they had two seasons ago when they went up, where their defence was absolutely rock solid. And I've just got this feeling that okay, you're going to say, how can it be rock solid? We haven't won one in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. But going forward from the 5th game, 1-1, 1-1, 0-0, 0-1, and 3-0. So, yeah, they let 4 goals in the last 3 games, in the last 2 games, the last 3 games. But Southampton away, if they weren't going to underestimate Watford, were they? So they came out fighting properly and didn't expect to win. And Southampton managed at home to get 3-0 against Watford. Yeah, I would expect that. Yeah, they're at home. They're playing a very good side who used to be in the Premiership. They know it's going to be tough. And they played well. That is it. End of. 3-0. Perhaps that was a bit overdoing it, but I think that the score, they're letting 3-0 in. They're going to want to really make sure they tighten up now, aren't they? They really are going to make sure that, especially at home, they're going to try and, I mean, a 1-0 defeat last time out at home against Cardiff and a cup draw 1-1 with Southampton at home, to me suggests that they're not scoring many. They don't usually let many in. Whereas Leicester City, at the minute, they're just scoring for the hell of it. I mean, I've seen them score so many in the first sort of 60 minutes that they just sit back and they pass it around. It doesn't matter about goals. It doesn't matter about the number of goal difference, because the goal difference is not going to make any flipping difference. I'm going to go for Watford 0, Leicester 4. I'm going to go for it, guys. I'm going to go Watford to get slaughtered. So that's my tip. That's my predictions for today. How did I do last week? Now, with the Rotherham game, I did say that it depends how much they underestimate us, a Southampton team. They did underestimate us. They came out, scored 2 in the first half, and then Rotherham managed to come out in the second half and actually play football. Too many times we've decided to capitulate in the first half, certainly in the first 10 minutes, and that's what happened. In the second half, we were fine. We held them at bay. We had a shot or two. We just couldn't get it on target, which is rather annoying. Didn't use our the substitutes that we'd bought over the January period, and we are at the minute going down. I said that if my head was saying a 1-1 draw and we lost 2-0, that was 2 goals, so I got the right number of goals. And I said, but my heart said, my heart said a 1-1. My head was saying 3-1 to Southampton. And it was a 2-goal win by Southampton. So I'll claim that as a sort of amber win. 3-1, and it was 2-0. I think that's about right, guys, isn't it? There's certainly been a fair few games, I think, over the last few weeks that have been totally and utterly unexpected. I mean, I just pick out the Huddersfield 4-0, was it, against Sheffield Wednesday, and you think, you wouldn't expect 2 teams down there fighting against relegation to be coming with a 4-0 scoreline. Neither of those teams should have been able to score 4 against the other and let in 0. They're both letting in goals. They're both shipping in goals. They can both lose 4-5-0. Yeah, but not against each other. Manic. So I think we did relatively well. If I go back to, that fatal day, QPR Blackburn. I didn't realise that Blackburn were going to be so downhill. 2-1 to QPR. Didn't really think that QPR would win. I look, I thought they had a chance because Blackburn were playing awful, and I have always had them from the beginning in my bottom 6. They are going to be in the bottom 6. I'm going to be right. Believe me, Blackburn are going down a place. QPR to win, I wouldn't have thought they'd have won, but they did well. And they did well against a team that was absolutely shocking. Hull Millwall, realistically, guys, I could have gone anyway. I think Hull City, Millwall are actually quite good away from home. That's the thing. It could have gone either way. Norwich, Coventry, I was definitely expecting. I actually bet on Norwich to beat Coventry. That was one of my few bets I actually won. So I got the Norwich one right. I think I might even got the score right. I certainly didn't get the score right for the Preston game, but I did get the fact that Preston would win. Hi, I can't be. I've just not got. Ipswich are just being found out, aren't they? Ipswich are being found out, and it's like it's like when last year when Rotherham were 5th in the Championship, and we were 8, 9, 10 games in, something like that. So pretty far in, really. And all of a sudden, the teams realised that we'd changed slightly, and that we weren't. We were playing more up. We were pushing up the field more. It was more of a high press. And teams are like, I'm not used to Rotherham high pressing. They're usually shit and they're back. You have 10 men behind the ball and try and rush one out of nowhere. And we were high pressing. It's like, you can't do that. It's illegal. It's impossible. But after about 10 games, they realised what we were doing. And obviously went from 5th down to 18th, 18th, 19th. Less than 1 point per game after that. And it's like, shit. And that's what I see with Ipswich. People have found out how they're playing. They have got great players. Don't get me wrong. They've got great players. Their skill is way better than the sort of Rotherhams and Sheffield Wednesdays and even the Stoke Cities. Their skill level, what they've got in there is actually really good. But you've got to remember that they actually made very little, if any, real recruitment in the summer. They come up with a team that they played in League One. Usually that means you're in the bottom 3, mate. That manager is absolutely amazing, isn't it? I mean, let's face it. You know, even if you hate them, which I'm not a hater of them, but I'm not particularly fond of them. They're too up their own arse, some of the Ipswich fans. But their manager is absolutely amazing. Really is. I can't stop to say how much I admire him. He really is a good manager. Like I said, we did the Rotherham game. Stoke City 0, Leicester 5. I did think Leicester would walk away with it. I just didn't know how many by. I can't remember how many I said, but it would certainly have been a Leicester win. Swansea, Plymouth. I think I said something like 3-2. And for the first time in a hell of a long while, Plymouth. No. Oh, yeah, because I was thinking that Plymouth usually score 3 at home, but they were away. I think I might have gone for Swansea there. I think I went something daft like 3-2, but to Swansea. And it's a 1-0 win away from home for Plymouth, which is, I didn't expect that. Hold my hands up. That was a fail. Watford, Cardiff, I remember saying that could have gone in anyway. Watford aren't scoring very many anyway, but Cardiff are up and down. They can win ones that they expect to win, and then 1 week, and then the next week they expect to win one and they get slaughtered. And then they do well against somebody who's they should lose against, and shit against somebody who they shouldn't do. So that, I think 1-0 is probably about right, really. 1-0 either way would have been about right, really. The West Brom 1, Birmingham 0. I think, yeah, I was right. It had to be West Brom, really. Although I did say, I do remember thinking it could have been a draw. But mainly because, guys, these things that people call derbies, although I think that's a derby that's not a derby, isn't it? Like the Rotherham Sheffield Wednesday, it's not a derby. It's a sort of, yeah, it's a derby that's not a derby. Derbies can go anyway. So yeah, I think we didn't do too bad. There was a couple of oddities in there. The Plymouth game is probably the one that stands out most. The Huddersfield 4-0, that was definitely another one that stands out. After that, everyone else, there was pretty much what you'd expect. Just dear Lord, that run this morning's done me bugger all good, hasn't it? They say running does you good. I don't believe them. So I think we're on the target there to get a pretty decent percentage right, I should think. I do put I put a £1 bet on, guys. I put a £1 bet. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge better, but one of the things I do is put my money where my mouth is. The wife used to say when she was alive. So she died in April. So look, it's only £1. If you want to, yeah, it's not as if you're betting huge amounts every week. So I have a quick look and I have a quick guess of usually 4, 5, or 6. Usually 4 or 6 teams. This week it's 4. I've chosen 4. Mainly the ones you would expect to win, like the Sunderland, Leicester City. There's a couple of oddities in there that stop me from betting against them, like the QPR Norwich. You'd think, well, Norwich are going to do okay, aren't they? They're going to win. They're higher up the table. Not necessarily. They're not playing very well, and QPR are actually playing really well, especially at home. It's fresh from a win, yeah. The last time they were this good, they did 2 wins on the bounce. Yeah, they could quite easily win Norwich City. So I didn't bet against. I'm not betting on that one. But the only other team I've not bet on this week is I've done a separate bet for Rotherham to win Leeds, but not as the combination. The combination to me is a combination of teams that we statistically believe will have a better chance of winning. If you played this game 6 times, then yeah, they're 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 they'll win. It means that I can put £1 on and usually get £10 back. So 2 weeks ago I got £10 back, which was really good. So we're on 2026. On 12/26. We're going to finish this and we're going to put that on the site. And then we are going to open up. We are going to go live with Ipswich versus West Brom in about 10 minutes. So it does actually have a quick look at this. And you get to the end, you may see that the game between Ipswich and West Brom has started, and that I am actually covering it. Yay! So we're going to, I'm going to be listening to it. It's going to be listenable over the microphone. They've not caught me out yet. When they do, they'll ban me. Till then, guys, goodbye. It's out from me, and let's see by the end of today who's going to be joining Rotherham United in League One. At the minute, my guess, quickly, not mention this before we go. My guess to going down will be obviously Rotherham United. I think QPR are going to join us. Which team is going to join us after that is going to be a four-way race. I'm going to go with Birmingham. I hate going with Birmingham. I thought I'd be saying Sheffield Wednesday, but I think that they've turned it round. After last night, I can't see them staying there. They've got more wins than Huddersfield. They're only one behind Stoke and Birmingham on wins. I think it's a case of Stoke or Birmingham. Huddersfield keep pulling out the odd win now and again. Yes, guys, I think Stoke and Birmingham are in the shit. I think Blackburn will change manager and have that manager bounce just at the right point to take them out of it. Birmingham Boys changed manager. No. Oh, do I really? I like some of the people I listen to on the internet for Birmingham. I really don't want to see them, but I'm going to go with Birmingham. It had to happen at some point, and I think this year they're just too close to the likes of QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. Goodbye and out, and I shall see anybody who wants to see me in about 10 minutes.